Everyday Use Reader Response by Jack,
Jenna,
Regina.
and Dawson.
What is reader response criticism? So before we look into a literary criticism that has reader response, we first have to define what reader response criticism is and what it's used for. Reader response can be defined as a type of literary criticism that focuses on the act of reading and the activities of readers as they read, such as their thoughts and their opinions. Furthermore, it can assist the reader because it shows multiple different avenues of the story, meaning that each individual has their own interpretation of the story and its personal meaning. A common question that is often asked about reader response criticism is what causes the difference in opinion or how someone views a book or story. Certain factors such as gender, race, age, and sexual orientation can shape the thoughts of readers around the world, causing diversity among opinions. Finally, a unique feature about reader response comes from focusing on the reader more than the author. Typically, when we read short stories or books, we answer questions based off the author's thoughts and experiences, but with reader response, it's different and the emphasis is put on readers, causing an increase in diversity.
Okay, so these are some of the quotes that I believe is important to the story everyday use. If you read these quotes, you will see that they show how the mother's attitude changes from the beginning of the story to the end, and how she realizes that she should give Maggie the same amount of love and attention like how she gave to Dee. And in the story, Everyday Use, it focuses on the changes and growth within the mother throughout the story. The criticisms that I'm going to go through is mother's attitude, mother's love, heritage, and the ignorant daughter Dee. So for the feminist criticism involves a more multi-phased process and interpretation that may be closely related to individuals' experiences. From this perspective, I believe that the mother's attitude towards Maggie and Dee both changed during the story. As we can tell, the mother has always been proud of Dee, her eldest daughter, but she also desires appreciation from Dee for the hard work from her and the community for sending Dee to college. But after seeing Dee coming back from college, her mother begins to see how appreciated Dee is towards her and her heritage. We can see that from Dee changing her name, and Dee attempts to get closer to her African heritage by changing her name, but she forgot her name was actually passed down from her family's tree, and she is moving away from her actual home heritage, which is her mother, sister, and her home. This caused the mother to start to notice the other daughter, Maggie, who is the younger one, the more ugly one, less smart and less educated. However, Maggie was able to find a man whom she wants to marry and presumably start a family with, which is the only thing that Dee does not have. From here, the mother notices that compared to the smart, educated, and beautiful Dee, Maggie might actually be the one that passes down the heritage more compared to Dee. This is ironic because Dee was taking artifacts from the family to make them represent who she is. However, she forgot that she does not need physical items to prove her heritage because it's always been within her. The mother also realizes this when Dee attempts to take the quilts from Maggie in order to show off her quote-unquote heritage more. The quilts that Dee wanted were made from their grandmother's old clothes and passed down to the mother. The quilts were originally planned to be gifted to Maggie for her wedding. However, Dee refuses to give the quilts to Maggie since Dee believes that she will take better care of them by hanging them. However, that's not what the mother wanted. By this, the mother also realizes that she should love the daughters equally, and she proves that by snatching the quilts from Dee and giving them to Maggie. This resulted Maggie in shock because she has never had the special treatments or gifts always when she was growing up, and this made Maggie and her mother have a deeper emotional connection.
Here are some quotes from the male perspective on everyday use. As you can see, as you go from top to bottom, you can see going from nitpicking to going to an overall view of the story and how he thinks it might be a political agenda. After reading the male response to everyday use, there are many different points of interest brought up. He brings up poverty and oppression multiple times throughout the story and connects the house fire to escaping poverty. He also brings up heritage and how it must be renewed. He uses the importance of heritage and family multiple times throughout his response and how the story's main theme is about family and heritage. The last point he brings up is the point that he sees the stories as political and how everything in modern society today is political. He connects the points of poverty and escaping into political and the name change moving away from heritage and family. She says, saying she's not bright believes that the whole story is pushing a political agenda.
So within everyday use, readers' perspectives clearly differ based on factors such as their own gender and experiences because of gender. Within the female perspective, we decided that the mother emphasized heritage in a positive manner. When Dee introduces her male companion to her mother and younger sister, it is as though there is an encounter between two different interpretations of African American culture. Descriptions of Dee's mother prove that she takes pride in the practical aspects of her nature. Dee's mother works hard to fulfill stereotypical male roles as proof of her pride. Her lack of education and refinement does not prevent her from understanding her heritage, as she learns from loved ones who came before her. However, from the male perspective, we determined that the heritage was definitely important, but instead focused on how it needed to be renewed, as demonstrated through Dee's character. As Dawson had said, there's a focus on poverty and oppression throughout the story, which, as we all know, makes for an uncomfortable living. This perspective takes on a much more dreary aspect, while the female perspective focused on the contributions heritage has made in Dee's mother's life. This perspective was centered around how her life seemed simple and sad. Though Dee's mother was okay continuing life as it had always been, Dee, having learned so many new things, which transitioned her to a more modern day than her younger sister and mom, felt it was boring. The differences in perspectives are highlighted by characterization and symbolism throughout the story, as Regina and Dawson had given examples of.
Here are some questions based off the overall presentation. Number 1, what is the significance of reader response? Choice A, each reader has a unique perspective. Choice B, it focuses on the reader more than the author. Choice C, it utilizes the author's imagination. Or choice D, all of the above. The answer is D, all of the above. Number 2, which analysis utilized the female perspective? A, perspective number 1, B, perspective number 2, C, both perspectives, or D, neither. The correct answer to this question is A, perspective number 1. The final question is number 3. Which of the following was not a top topic that was brought up in criticism number 2? We have choice A, politics, choice B, religion, choice C, oppression, or choice D, heritage. The correct answer to this question is choice B, which is religion. This is our works cited page. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.